Greetings, Minecrafters, Nonsanity here, and welcome to another episode of Avant 3 here on the FTOG server. I am in the new base. I'm going to be continuing with automating Botania, in this case the Petal Apothecary and the Runic Altar, using refined storage. But first, I want to thank the two additional people that, like Yankee Vader here, use the support button on YouTube to send me a little bit of a thank you. I want to thank the two people who sent some money, but I don't know who you are. You didn't leave comments. Let me know who you were and when you sent something, and if you remember how much. And I will add your heads here to this room, which I'm going to be using as the Thank You Hall of Fame. Alright, so get back into first person and put my armor back on. Let's start with Botania. And I've done a few things since you've been here. First, I made sure all these systems were going to work. I made this little screen here. Turns out with the RF Tools control, this little button here switches between a few modes, and I like the debug because it floats some text up here. You don't have to have the glass. It would just sort of float there in the middle of the block. But with the glass, it floats right there in the front. It looks very nice. I have turned off mana production because I didn't have a way for it to automatically stop. And the pools were all full. I've used some, and I've sent some down there. In the meantime, I've also disconnected this thing underneath the floor because I had all the living rock and living wood that I needed, but I wanted to store stone in here for some of the runic recipes, and it was taking it out and turning it into living stone, so I just shut that down. And I think we'll just go down right here. Yep, this is the spot. I cleaned up down below too. So here you can see I just disconnected the cable, just temporarily. So what are we going to do? We're going to automate this guy, the Runic Altar, but first we're going to finish automating this thing, the Petal Apothecary. Now, as you saw before, and I'll break a hole here, I did have the system to keep it full using bucket of water in a mechanical user, activate block with item, upper left slot only. It'll keep trying to fill it with water, which will fail until it's empty. Then it'll fill it with water. This will be an empty bucket. And if I stick my head up here, this thing is set to extract empty buckets all the time and put them into here. And this one will activate, again, activate block with item, upper left slot only, and it's aimed at this Evil Craft water block. That will fill it up, and then it's set to extract the full buckets back up there where it just sits and waits. So that system is not going to change. But what we're going to do is hook it up so that we can make flowers and anything made in the Petal Apothecary just by asking the remote storage to get it for us. So what we'll have when I get it finalized, is recipes down here for all the flowers, like the Solagnolia and the Pure Daisy. And just click, say how many we want, and it'll make them. Now, if you're familiar with applied energistics, refined storage is very similar, but there are a few differences. And one of them is there was a button in Applied Energistics, and this is a feature that the mod author for Refined Storage, he made the feature request himself. This is something he plans to do. It's a blocking button that will let it craft only one batch at a time. There is this block over here, the Processing Pattern Encoder, where you can put anything in one side and something in the other, and turn that into a pattern. And then this item will show up in the recipe system as craftable. And when you click on it, it will take this many of, whatever was on this side, send it off to the machine where this pattern is sitting, and it'll wait for the finished results to come back, and when it does, it'll say, it's done with the crafting. But if you say you want a lot of something, it sends, let's say I wanted a stack of these, it would send 3 stacks of these all at once, pretty much, to whatever machine is going to do the crafting. And that's not what we want with the Petal Apothecary and the Runic Altar. They can only do one at a time. They need to batch. So this isn't going to fly by itself without that blocking. With the blocking, it will put the stuff in there and it'll wait until the inventory it's attached to is empty, and then it'll put the next batch in. That would be great, but we don't have that, so it gets a bit more complicated. But we can do it. I've worked it out. Let me get all the stuff here that we need. And actually move these out of the way. We're going to have a subnetwork of refined storage. So I'm going to stick one of the refined storage controllers over here. Now I can't let it touch this cable because this cable has its own, which is hidden up there. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. It's got its own controller, its own network. If I were to connect them, one of these 2 controllers would pop off because there can only be one. So don't let them touch directly. Instead, we're going to be touching them through some chests. Now I've got a 1K storage block just to give it a little bit of storage. And I've got some interfaces here. We're going to have a grid so we can see what's in there. And this is now a functioning RS storage. I can put stuff in there and take stuff out. It's being powered there, storage in the orange thing, and you can look at it here. But because this is going to be doing crafting, I also have a crafting monitor so we can monitor how it's going. And then, because it needs to do crafting, I'm going to place a crafter here. Now the crafter is, you put those patterns in these slots, and when it makes an order, whatever it's pointing at is where it's going to put the items. So what we're going to do is put a phantom face there. It's not connected to anything, so I need to get out my phantom face connector and go up above. And is it still in there? Yes, it is. I put a dropper. This is an automatic precision dropper from Actually Editions. Just has some inventory in it, but that's the inventory where we want to put the ingredients, and then they get to drop down into the Petal Apothecary. So we're going to crouch. I can't crouch. That's weird. Okay, now. So I crouch, click on that. It's stored in this tool. And now I crouch, click on this, and it says it's connected to the automatic precision dropper up above, 6 blocks away. So now this crafter is going to be pushing stuff into that guy up above, which will then immediately start dropping it into the apothecary. Let's put that back like that. There we go. Alright, so if we now made a pattern, and let's see, what's some of the at Botania, what should we make? Hopper Hawk. Orchid. That requires some higher level stuff. Let's do something fairly simple. Well, how about, I already have a bunch, but I may need more in the future. Solagnolia. That's pretty easy. 2 browns, a red, a blue, and a root. See, I don't know how many roots I have, but let's see. I brought a lot of these materials over here already. So a red, a blue, 2 browns. Oh, good. I got some roots. And then the last thing it needs is a seed. So let's pop down to this machine here. And the order doesn't matter. So I'm just going to toss everything in here. Now I could click like this and have 2, and that'll work. But personally I like to just show it in there twice. And then the seeds. And that's going to make... I should have grabbed one while I was up there, since I already have some made. Solagnolia. Put that there. Make the pattern. Now I'm going to make 2 of these. And we'll see why in a moment. But for right now, we're just going to run over here, and we're going to toss it in this guy. Now we look in here, and it says you can craft the Solagnolia. It sees that pattern. But if I say start, it says we're missing all these ingredients, so we can't do it. Let's toss them in. Oh, we don't need to toss the flower in. So now when I hit craft and start, it says they're all there. If I hit start, this block would send the ingredients into the phantom face, up into the dropper. They would drop down, and as soon as the seed hit and everything else, it would make the flower. Of course, it'll just be floating there or somewhere on the floor around it, so let's give it a destination to go to. I've got some chests here. I think I was using this one. Yeah, these are from Dark Utilities. It added some interesting chests that just looked as different designs, so I like that. And we're going to import from that chest, like so. And we're going to put the advanced item collector on top. I think radius 2. And this filter, which if I right click it, has pure daisy, but I've turned on OR dictionary, turned off metadata, turned off NBT. It should work with all flowers. If it doesn't work with all flowers, I may have to add some more in there. But I know it works with the Solagnolia. If I drop one right now, it picks it up, and it's in our system. So yeah, I can now craft right here 1 and only 1. If I tell it to make more than 1, and I had more than 1's worth of ingredients, it would dump everything at once into the Petal Apothecary, and it would get jammed. But this system will only ever be making 1 at a time, and the reason is I'm going to click this button here. Trigger auto-crafting with redstone signal. Now when this thing gets a redstone signal, it's going to craft 1 item. It will not craft another until the item that gets created returns into the system. So it's going to get sucked up by the item collector and sucked up into this orange block here, and it will then be registered as having been crafted, and then it will send a new batch as long as the redstone signal is continuing. And it will, because I'm going to slap a lever on here. So once I throw that lever, it's actually going to start crafting the first one because it has the ingredients to do so. Alright, let's flip it. Or not. What did I forget? Oh, no, the ingredients are all gone. Are they in the dropper? They are in the dropper, but it's not dropping. Why is it not dropping? Is there something blocking it? So I think all these... That's strange. Yeah, there's nothing in here that's... Yeah, I could put a block there. There's nothing in there. Oop, wrong one. Doesn't need a redstone signal. Oh, it's set to redstone pulse. There's the problem. Alright, I need to hit it with a redstone torch. So whack it. There it goes. Redstone signal will cause it to deactivate. And there it is. There's the flower. It is not getting picked up. So I guess I need to increase the range a little bit. There, got it. Alright, we can cover this back up again. That's the bottom one. And that is the top one. So we've now created our first Solagnolia using this. If it had more ingredients, it would just keep going. But only one at a time, and that's the trick. So now we want to be able to order from our main system up here and send a whole batch into here. And once we do that, it'll make them one at a time. So to do that, we're going to have an input chest, which will have an external storage connecting it to the rest of the network. And this will be extract only. And it will be getting stuff from this other crafter. So I place that there. Alright. Now that crafter is on the main network. Any pattern I put in there, like this one for the Solagnolia, will now register on the main network as being craftable. There it is. Oh, well, there's 3 of them in there. There it is. It says craft. You can click it, say give me 10, and it's got all the ingredients. So it's going to send all those ingredients down there all at once. But I don't want to start it quite yet. There's one more thing to do. They'll all go into this orange block. And it'll start crafting them one at a time. The results will get picked up, put back in the orange block. But the main system needs to get them, and it needs to know that they have been made. So what we're going to do is we're going to export. Oh, not like that. Actually, yes. Put the chest like here. We're going to export. And what we're going to export is the flowers. And again, I'm going to just put one of these in here and set it to compare or dictionary. Don't compare NBT, don't compare damage. That should get all the flowers. And then up above, we're going to import whatever's in that chest back into the main system. That is it. So let's give it a try. Let's order 3 Solagnolias. And go. Oh, well, go. So now it's sent all those ingredients over here. They're all getting dropped. 1, 2, uh-oh. Okay, there it is. 3. Perfect. This system should have nothing in it, but our main system should now have 3 Solagnolias. Yep. I now have 8 of the things. It's probably more than I'll ever need. But it works. I can now program that with any other flower that I want. And we will have, you know, it'll all be there. And I just had to put 2 copies. One into this guy so that the main system knows about the recipe, and one into this guy so that it'll constantly be trying to make more. And if 9 slots, which is all this has in it, is not enough, I can place another one here, these crafters aimed down, put it on top, aimed down. It'll connect via this cable to this network, and put another 9 in. And over here I can put another one on the front of this chest, aimed towards it, with the same 9. And if necessary, I've got more room on 2 sides here, and I can fit more around this. So it is expandable, which is good. And now, as you can see, we're going to do the exact same thing, pretty much, for the Runic Altar. And I've got some fancy stuff to decorate it once we've got the main assembly done. Now this one I've already created a bunch of the recipes. You can see I've got 2 copies of each of the 4 main ones, which I am going to leave in there for the moment. Now with this, there are 2 things you need to do to make this thing work. You need to give it all the ingredients, and then you need to click it with a wand when it's done getting mana. Now the mana will start flowing automatically as soon as it has a valid recipe, and I've got that spreader over here with... It's actually got a phantom lens and I think a potency lens. Because once I start building up all the blocks around this, I want it to go right through that and still get to it. I don't want it to be blocked by the chisel and bits. So, let's see. The first thing I need to do, and I'm going to use my conjure block just to help me out here a little bit, is I'm going to put a mechanical user underneath, like that. And it's going to be use item on block, upper left slot only, and put in a wand of the forest. So this thing is constantly trying to click the altar with the wand, but that does absolutely nothing until it has a valid recipe and it's got a full quantity of mana into it, and there's a piece of living rock on it. Then when it gets clicked, it'll actually make the rune. Till then, that's doing nothing, effectively. But we don't have to trigger it, it'll just happen when it happens. So that part of the process is done. And the main part here is going to be just like what we did before. We're going to have that, the crafting monitor, and a grid, and a 1K storage, power, going to have a crafter, a phantom face. The other crafter goes up here, aimed down. We're going to have the input chest, the receive chest, external storage, this one gets an export from underneath, an import from above, and then this one gets an import. I need a rune, any rune, just to prime. Actually, I was using the fire runes, I think. It doesn't matter, but for some reason I like the fire rune for this. It's red, it stands out. So in here, rune, but I want any rune. And then we have the item collector. And I've already programmed this with the fire rune, and again, turned on or dictionary, turned off these two. Toss that in. Okay. That is it down here, I think. Oh, on the lever. Turn it on. I must have turned this one on because it worked. Yeah, it's on. Good. Now we need to hook it up to the dropper that's going to be up here. Let's just get something to put it up against. There we go. So that dropper is going to come down, and the phantom face is going to connect it. So let's shift right click that, shift right click that. They're connected. Is there anything else? Make sure this is set to deactivation. Good, it is. So I don't need the redstone torch or this anymore. I think that's it. I think it's ready to go. Let's just give it all the recipes. So 4 of them go in here. And 4 of them go in here. Am I forgetting anything? That sucks up anything. This exports only those. Oh yeah, this is set to extract only. So it'll pull things out of the chest. It won't try and store anything in there. Yep, I think that's ready. I think we can actually craft some runes. They should all be in here. Let's make some more of the fire runes. Let's make 3. Let's make 5. Because each recipe makes 2, this will actually run it 3 times. And give me 6. Start. Okay, something didn't... Oh. Yeah, I know it. I forgot on this crafter to set it to trigger automatically. I hear it going. There's the first recipe. You see the living rock just goes going to sit on top. And the nice thing is, even though I've got a magnet on, it doesn't pull it from that. It knows that if it's directly on top of it, don't let my magnet grab it. So I'm using the Botania magnet. But this is not shooting mana to it, is it? It is not. Let me see if I need to retarget that. No. It is aimed at it. There's mana coming down here. You know, I didn't really test the phantom lens. Let me take that off. No. Why is it not firing? Let me grab this lens. Nothing. Someone's doing some sort of magic. Alright, let me figure out what's going on here, and I'll be right back. Oh, no, wait, there it goes. Huh. Alright, so it's working now. Is it? Yes, look, it's filling up. So let's put the potency and phantom back on. And it's still working. Good. And I can put this guy back on. So that is filling up. And when it's done, it should grab the rune that is created, and then it'll send the next batch through. Almost there. Ta-da! And the next batch drops on top. So you can drop the stone on right away. It doesn't. You don't have to wait until it's ready for it. The only problem is if your manus is slow and it takes more than 5 minutes to fill it, or however long the lifetime of drops are in your server, then that piece of living stone will vanish and the system will jam. But I have a feeling I'm going to have plenty of mana in the future, so this will not be a problem. Plus, once I start using sparks, which is the plan, then this will be fine. It was much faster with the other. Let's see how much faster this lens is. Yeah, seems about the same. I did switch. Yeah, this is the potency of phantom. Yeah, it is a little faster. The amount per shot is the same between these two because they both have potency, but the other one has velocity, so they happen more often. They get sent faster. That's okay. And it's done. So now we should have 6. Yep, 6 runes of fire in the system. Again, I can teach it all the other ones, and I can expand it with additional crafters on the other side of this block and the other side of this block. So now let's decorate. Let's get these out of the way. Going up. So I think the first step I've got to put on is the top covers, which is just like over on the other side. I may decorate these further, but this is a start. And I've got some edges, corners, like that. Now this is the part that goes... See, if I just click that, it's going to stick it on there, yeah. But if I crouch... I think that's good. Yes, that's flush. Good. I want the corners too. That way it'll be easier to place. The next one. Corner. Edge. Corner. Edge. Corner. There's the start. Very similar to this one, but lower down and flush with the top. But now for the middle section, the items float in a circle way out in the outside. So I thought, all right, let's build something for them to be in. So place these parts around like this. And then the corners. And there we go. I think it looks good. My circle isn't, it's a little bit wonky, but that's okay. It's little braces to hold it on. So let's order something up and see how it looks. Let's get some more runes of air. I think... No. I thought there was some key press you could use. I guess not. Let's make 3 of those, which will get me actually 4. Make 2 batches. See, there the items go in that little merry-go-round. With the living rock in the center. And I don't see any beams. I thought the phantom would work. Okay, there it goes. Didn't have the wrong one on there. I don't know. Like I said, I really want to get to the sparks. And now that I can make all the pieces for that, the only thing I need to do left is the agglomeration plate, which is where we're going to go in this location. So I probably should get ready and do that. Let me check to see how much time is left in this episode, and if there is time, we can maybe go ahead and set up the agglomeration plate too. Be right back. Oh, the one thing I can't do is check this. I can't see its progress because it's all covered up. That's okay. It's automatic. It'll work anyway. See you in a moment. Alright, well, let's set up the agglomeration plate real quick. We won't do full automation for it. If we did, it'd probably be almost exactly the same as all the others. That is a pattern that works well. Let's see. To put the dropper, I want to move it up one. like that. And the shroud will come down, but I want it a little higher because this takes up this block space. I want there to be at least one air gap. I'm going to put a spark on that, and I put a spark on this pool already. I also put a spark on this one up here, but it was too far away, as I figured it would. That's pretty far. These pools will be flowing down to pools down here, and those will have the sparks that will be powering all the machines. But this thing can take a spark directly instead of having to use a spreader. So now it's just a matter of giving it some ingredients. And we're just going to do one, because this can only take him one at a time right now. Drop some materials, and there, the spark is sending power over. As long as it gets the power faster than it takes to despawn, we're good. And I'm pretty sure it will with a spark and a... It's draining pretty quickly. Hopefully there's going to be enough. Oh, yep, there it is. I heard it. One piece of Terra Steel. See, I could set up the same thing down below, hooked up to this guy to drop one batch at a time, and wait for this Terra Steel to come back through the system before dropping the next batch. I'll leave that as an exercise for you viewers at home. But it's exactly the same as those two. And then I will decorate it. Not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover up the bottom as I've covered up everything else. But I'm probably going to leave some blue stripes in it just to indicate that this cross shape of blue in the actual device below. But I'm going to hide it as much as possible. Like, this is almost entirely hidden, you just see the top. This is almost entirely hidden, you just see the top. I'm going to keep doing that and keeping the aesthetics of the build here the same. And I'll have the same glass. And the tower above. So far, neither of these towers needed the second space. The second space is just empty. There's nothing going on up there. But that one, yeah. But this time it'll be the top spot that is full. The bottom spot will have... I mean, I can put something there. The spark doesn't care, but I want the extra space to drop into. And so I'll automate that and we'll be set. And then I'll be able to make the Elven Gateway over here. And you can see this little stack in front. I'm going to be automating it as well. So, we'll do that next time. And get that automated in as well. And probably toss in one of the pools that you can toss things into with the block underneath. That's what's going to go here. I used to have two, but there wouldn't have been enough room for both of... Well, maybe I can put two up here and drive them both from the same unit down below. So there's enough room for one more 3x3 platform, like these two, in between, which is why I took down one of the towers. But I might be able to make one platform drive two towers. One for dropping things in a regular mana pool to make mana diamonds, mana steel, and all so forth. But the other one for doing the conversions using the... what's it called? The Alchemy Catalyst. There's also the Conjuration Catalyst, but I don't think... that's mostly for duplicating stuff. I'm mainly interested in the Alchemy Catalyst, because that's the only way to make some things, I believe. And I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for the episode. I hope you enjoyed this, and you look forward to seeing if anybody else uses this design to automate Botania using refined storage. It works well. It'll be a whole lot simpler once that block feature. Then basically this one guy here will have to play another button saying block. It can only put the next batch in here if this is empty. Well, actually, yeah, before I would use Steve's Factory Manager to do a lot of it, and I would keep a block in there. I don't know, maybe I'll just keep doing it this way. This may be the best way to do it. So we'll wrap it up here. This is Nonsanity signing out. Take care, be good, and see you next time.